Hi, I'm Nathan Oakley and this is video log number 32. Today I wanted to talk about a little link that came to me, like a lot of links, while I was having a shower this morning, singing away to myself with my wife humming away to herself. And I was kind of thinking about NASA and along the lines of why we as Brits, so I'm not excluding the Americans from this, but it's just my personal take on it through other conversations with other Brits around NASA. And we care that we've been lied to. Obviously, we're people and we want to know the truth. And the deception itself is enormous. So you get the Brits who are woken up to the flat earth, obviously very conscious of the fact that NASA lies. But it's a world away from us in terms of what's happening and how the lie is even spun. It's spun in a very different way in the American media than it is in the British media. Now, I have to ask myself, what do the Brits actually care about? What is it that we're presented with on our media that's important? And it occurred to me that I'd already covered it in loads of different video logs. So I've mentioned things like QI in video logs gone by and sort of referenced the nonsense that they come out with. But it occurs to me that you've got programs like Countdown and 8 out of 10 cats does Countdown. Now, these words that are used are the most important thing in British society. Of all the things that I've been corrected on, I was chatting with Matrix Decode on Skype, and in order for him to give me his Skype address, he messaged me via YouTube messaging service, and I'd not actually used it, so there was a whole bunch of messages there, and lots of them were about as pedantic as you can be. But what they were correcting me on wasn't curvature or fake NASA or anything flat earth. It was about the words I used and where I got them wrong. You should have used this word, you should have used that word. I think you've misunderstood what word you're using. And in a video log about spells and spelling, I pointed out that the power of words is immense, and it's really what gives us the lie. Now, you can tie that to psychopaths and say that they are extremely adept at using words to create situations, create discord, create whatever it is that they're trying to do to give them narcissistic supply. And in terms of people, they might, in my opinion, be at the top of the tree. But there's still something that goes above psychopaths, and it's what us Brits want to get really pedantic about, and that's the words and their meanings. You know, the Oxford Dictionary spends a lot of time figuring out which words are going to get in and which words are not going to get in, and which words are important and which words aren't, and the meanings and how they're diced up. And it's because these words and their meanings, when they slot together, are spells. Now, my perspective said, again, I know I've mentioned this in another video log, so this seems to be extremely repetitive. It is. But my perspective said in one of his replies to a comment that we're all under a spell. You know, the whole globe lie, all the way through to the sort of very obvious NASA lie, has been presented to us, and it's been presented to us through words. And it's the words and their meanings and how they're presented that, even though I've done it before, I think is the most important thing. And in this video log, I want to sort of draw attention that that's where we Brits seem to stick our little beaks into everybody's affairs. How is the message being communicated? Forget the message, but how is it being communicated? How do these spells actually work? Now, we could debate all day, but we'd be debating using words. Now, to boil this down to flat earth, when you have commenters, it doesn't matter if they're paid shills, as some people call them, trolls, just regular people who comment and disagree, or, on the other hand, the people in agreement with you, the people who actually say, yeah, I agree with you. Whenever they comment, their words on the page are just as powerful as the spoken word that I present you with in these video logs. And misinformation will always seep into people's opinions, whether they like it or not. So you end up with confirmation containing misinformation. So the convoluted world of words, if I could get my tongue around it, is the very heart of why we get lied to. And understanding words is really how you can get out of this prison cell we call the globe. Once you've figured out how they twist up words and present you with wicked lies, you can figure out how to unpick them. And, better still, you can find some truth in what they say. Wicked lies mix truth and lies. And if you can figure out where the line is drawn between the two, you might actually get some truth out of these people. I've been Nathan Oakley. I'll see you in the next video.